Well, hey, Southern Oregon, welcome back to the Real Estate Show. I'm Alice Lema. I'm a broker at John L. Scott Real Estate here in Southern Oregon. And today we are welcoming the amazing Lennox Scott. He is the CEO of John L. Scott Corporation, and he is also third generation real estate person in his family. We're so excited to have Lennox. He comes on the show a couple of times a year, and we're going to talk to him about what's happened in 2023. We're going to recap. We're going to talk about what it's like to buy and sell during the winter sessions. And also we're going to talk a lot about 2024. So it's going to be a great chat with Lennox Scott. He's going to be here in just a quick minute. While we're waiting, let's check briefly on our local statistics. Let's start with Klamath County this week. This is for single-family residential only. Prices in Klamath County year over year are down 22% this week. The average single-family residential home costing $364,751 in Klamath County this week. The number of solds year over year in Klamath County are up 90%. We had 19 closings in the residential area this week. The number of listings year over year in Klamath County are up 11%. Yay! At 272 active listings in Klamath County this week. Josephine County prices are up year over year 8% this week. Yay for that. The average single family residential home in Josephine County this week costing $500,533. The number of solds year over year in Josephine County this week are down 4%. We had 22 closings in the residential single family area. The number of listings in Josephine County this week year over year are down 7%, with 352 active listings in Josephine County this week. Jackson County prices were up 2% year over year. The average now being $535,909. The number of solds year over year in Jackson County were up 6% this week, with 51 closings in the residential single-family home market. And the number of listings year over year in Jackson County this week were down 8%. We had 711 active listings in the residential single-family home market. So still some volatility, but still some signs of optimism. We're going to welcome Lennox Scott as our guest this week. He'll be on right after this quick break. We're going to be brought to you by John L. Scott, Ashland, Medford, Guy Giles Mutual Mortgage, and our local Rogue Valley Association of Realtors. We'll be right back with Lennox Scott. Don't go away. Well, good morning, Southern Oregon, and welcome back to the Real Estate Show. We are delighted to welcome Mr. Lennox Scott on the show today. Thank you so much, Lennox.
Well, thank you, Alice.
This is always such a treat, and here we are almost at the end of 2023, and what a year we've had. Oh, my gosh.
Well, it's such a unique time in the real estate industry, and so I know we're going to have a chance to go through that today, and I do appreciate being invited back on to your show.
Well, Southern Oregon loves you, and we always learn a lot and also feel very motivated with your words.
Well, thank you.
So would you like to start maybe with the first part of 2023, maybe recap what's happened?
Well, this is a unique market. I've been in the industry 47 years. This is probably my fourth or fifth adjusting market cycle to go through. And this one is unique because there's a shortage of new resale listings coming on the market in the normal sequence. So with higher interest rates, there's fewer buyers in the market, and 70% of them have a home to sell. So there's just fewer homes coming on the market that way. Then on the other side, a lot of homeowners refinanced at very low interest rates. And they're staying put right now instead of not quite as many doing that local repositioning move in the community. And so who's moving in today's market? That's one thing we should take a look at. And there's two big areas. One is life events, and that would be household formation change, job transition, estates, those items, life events. And then there's those with major equity. And that's probably 50% of the market right now. Those seniors, retirees with 100% equity in many cases, and then others who have been in their home 4 or 5 years may have 50% equity. And that's also driving the market today because they're able to reposition. The interest rates are not as much of a factor in those instances. So with that as a backdrop, with fewer homes coming on the market, we still have buyers, especially below 750 in Southern Oregon, coming into the marketplace. And then in the luxury price points, those that are positioning their home to get sold, because you can buy and sell within same market timing. It's okay to do that. You buy and sell maybe in the spring up here, you buy and sell right now just a little bit lower, but you're sitting basically with the same net seller asset equity. So that's what we're seeing taking place in the market. That's keeping the market in motion. And the other statement I want to say is, what you see is what you get. So in 2024, we don't see that much of a change in the marketplace, but we can chat about that in a second of the economist forecast.
So that's really, really interesting. One of the things we've noticed in Southern Oregon, we haven't had as much of a price decline as was predicted at the end of 2022. It's really quite shocking.
Well, I did some quick calculations for Southern Oregon, and 88% of the transactions are taking place below $750,000. And there's price support because we're at a low inventory of unsold properties. And now we're into the winter cycle, and that's a whole nother discussion there's fewer homes coming on the market over the winter. September is usually the high point of unsold inventory. January 1st is the low point. And so with that taking place, that's price support. And there's just higher intensity right after the first of the year for homes going under contract within the first 30 days. It's lower right now, a couple levels of hotness from the spring of this year. Because interest rates did go up, and it paused some buyers from moving forward and purchasing. Below 750, we have price support, and there's a possibility of price increases in the spring.
Wow. Now that would be something. What would it be? What would be generating those price increases, do you think?
Well, we're starting the first of the year at the low point of unsold inventory. Very few listings come on in January and February, not until March. And then you get April, May, June, July, August, where you get the majority of new listings coming on, the high point on a monthly basis. But we're heading into winter. We've started the winter cleanup right now of inventory. Right after the first of the year, or snow event or whatever, right after the first of the year, the buyers come out of the woodwork after the holidays, but there's just not the inventory present. And there's fewer listings. So in the wintertime, we always get about the same number of homes going under contract as new listings coming on the market. In the summer, there's more new listings that come on the market above the number of homes going under contract. So prices, mellow a little bit. The intensity mellows during the May, June, July, August timeframe. But in the first of the year, it's right there. The homes under contract to new listings, and that's where price support and the possibility in the spring. Real estate follows a pretty normal pattern. And although the numbers of transactions are lower right now because of those reasons I gave at the beginning here, we're to the normal seasonal pattern of when homes come on the market and when homes go under contract. I got it, they're at a lower level. But because of the unique situation of the market, there's no oversupply in the more affordable and mid-price ranges where 88% of the transactions are taking place.
Yes, it really is dire straits for inventory in those lower price points for sure. And we do seem to have a few more buyers than sellers still. What advice would you give winter sellers right now, people who don't want to wait until next year?
Well, it's part of that is taking a look at your area and price range and what your objectives are. We always get the question, when's the best time to sell your home? And the answer is when the timing's right for you, because it's okay to buy and sell within same market timing. So taking a look at where do you want to reposition? Where are you moving forward? That's the number one indicator. And what's your time frame to accomplish that? And if you're going to bring it on over the winter time or right after the first of the year, now's the time to talk to your broker associate, because as a seller, you want to get market ready day one, because it's all about bringing the home on the market. It's about the buyers who are currently in the marketplace. That's and the best opportunity to sell your home at the best price is the first 30 days that it's on the market. So it does come down to what you want to accomplish, and then looking at the local market. What is the peer group of homes that you're competing against? And what I meant by that is, what are the other homes that buyers that look at your home would also look at? And then checking out what's going on in your peer group. Last week or last month, how many went under contract in your peer group? How many price reductions, how many new listings? Those are the type of information you want to take a look at to figure out how do I position my home? What is the right pricing? What is my timetable? But we right now we're at coming into a good place where the number of pendings match up really well with the number of homes coming on the market.
Yeah, it really is surprisingly strong, and we're super grateful for that. What about interest rates? We've had some surprisingly high number of increases, more than we thought we were going to. What are your personal thoughts on where those interest rate numbers are going next?
Well, Alice, that has been a surprise, hasn't it? Yeah, wow. They were not forecasting this a couple of years ago. But inflation got out of hand. They had to raise the rates up because the only tool they've had to cool inflation is to cool the economy. And in fact, it's in process. So there's a couple of things I look at looking ahead. Job growth is the number one indicator to a strong market. And not only local job growth, but job growth in the major metro areas of where buyers also come from to Southern Oregon, from San Francisco, from Portland, from Seattle, and elsewhere. But those Los Angeles, those are the big metro market areas for that. So job growth is slowing in the major metro market areas. There's actually, it was doing really well until a couple of months ago, and now there's a couple of yellow flags up that the job growth is slowing, and that's good for interest rates. And I think that's what the interest rates went up to approximately 8%, but now they're back off about a half a point. And part of that is that the international investors realize we're putting in a pricing premium on interest rates, not knowing if they're going to continue to go up. Well, when they saw that the Fed Reserve paused in doing their rate increases, the international investors brought down some of that premium of expected continual increase in rates. There's another inflection point that's coming up, and that's the appropriation bills in Congress. So right now, we're going to be coming up against another debt ceiling limit, national debt ceiling limit. And they'll probably postpone it one more time just because I don't think they're going to be able to get their work done. But they're going to try to get the spending in alignment in our nation. Because right now we're running a $2 trillion deficit just in day-to-day spending. That's too much money. And that would keep rates higher, or world investors looking at, you got to get your financial house in order. So hopefully we get that more in alignment. That will send a signal to the international investors that buy mortgage-backed securities and other bonds that we don't need to have that premium like we've been getting this last couple of years, asking for. And so that itself could bring rates down. So two good items there: the pause in the Fed Reserve interest rates, and hopefully the spending bills get in alignment. so that we can reduce our need for selling bonds in our nation year over year. And so the economists, I read many economists, what they're projecting forward, and they're projecting interest rates into the upper sixes next year, maybe the second quarter, particularly Lawrence Yun, the chief economist of the National Association of Realtors. They're also predicting 6.3 by the end of next year. And some are predicting maybe at 6% or so in 2025. So it's still not going to change that much, the amount of listings coming on the market, although when rates do come down, more buyers will come into the market. So there will be some more listings because they have homes to sell. But at the same time, the intensity is going to go up because there's going to be more buyers than new listings coming on, than resale listing, additional listings coming on. So the intensity is going to go up, especially below 750 in Southern Oregon. That's going to take place. So the big question comes in, you're probably ready to ask it.
Well, but we've got to take a quick break, and I'm so sorry because this is so exciting. We're talking to Lennox Scott, the CEO and a leader of John L. Scott Corporation. We're going to take a quick break and say thank you to our sponsors, John L. Scott, Ashland and Medford, Guy Giles Mutual Mortgage, and our local Rogue Valley Association of Realtors. We'll be right back with more with Lennox Scott. Well, welcome back, real estate fans. We've got Lennox Scott on the show today. And right before the break, we were talking about predictions and some of the things that have happened in 2023. And we were about to ask the big question, Lennox, is it good to buy and sell now, or should you wait?
Well, that is the question that we get asked frequently, isn't it? Should I buy now, or should I wait until interest rates come down? And it depends. It depends what you want to accomplish. We help you move forward in life. So what your timetable is, it's okay to buy and sell now, especially in the more affordable and mid-price ranges. We know there's price support. We know there's a potential that prices may go up in the spring, even if they just went up 5%. On a $400,000 home, that would be $20,000. Well, if you purchase today, there's a certain interest rate that you're paying right now, and if the rates come down, there is a monthly payment differential. But that monthly payment differential might only be $300, $400, and over 12 months, that would be $4,800. Well, if the price of the home goes up $20,000 and you're saving $4,800 by waiting, you need to take a look at the math. So it really depends on the price range, your feeling about where interest rates are going to go. There's also, we see home buyers looking at the possibility of buying down the interest rate being bought down the first year or two. They call it a 2-1 buy down or a 1% buy down to bridge that monthly payment, a little bit lower monthly payment for a period of time. So we know buyers are looking at that, and some sellers are offering that. So that comes into play about where we're going in the future. But with those few indicators going our way with the Fed Reserve, we're kind of at the pinnacle, it feels like. I can't say it's an absolute. I'm not an economist, but it feels like we're at the pinnacle on rates, and all the economists are forecasting lower rates. So I can purchase today if I found the right home, and potentially refinance down the road when the rates come down. So that's the big question for that.
Well, and it's interesting because some of the buyers that waited out because of the volatility in 2023, we had the surprising support in the prices because of low inventory, and then they missed out. They missed out on having a home. They missed out on a little bit of appreciation. So timing the market is hard to do, even for experts, right?
Oh, it sure is. And I've always had the statement over probably the last 35 years. Prices are only going to go up, and traffic's never going to get better, especially in the metro areas. The traffic will never get better. But in the more affordable and mid-price ranges, there's just not enough homes being built, and the appreciation will. It tends to go up 2 to 3% on a yearly average over a 10-year cycle. So we're just at the beginning stages of the next 10-year cycle. Last year, 2022, was the major adjustment year. This year and next year, the market will solidify, and then we'll get back into a nice growth phase for the 10-year cycle. So that's how real estate goes, and that's what I've experienced. This is my 6th 10-year cycle.
Wow.
I caught the tail end of the first one, and then 4 in between, and now this is the start of my 6th cycle, and they've all been 10-year cycles.
And there's always a predictability to it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, real estate is very predictable. We have a phrase within John L. Scott, the 6 phases of the yearly housing cycle, so predictable. They go in 2-month phases. And then you have the 10-year cycle, and then you have items that come up on occasion. Like during that 10-year cycle,
like pandemics.
Anytime you really get oil prices going up, you get inflation, and then the economy has to. They have to cool. The economy just cools down on its own at that time, and so those things do take place.
So, what words would you have for people that are waiting for the crash to happen again? Because we still have quite a bit of that rumor going around that there's going to be a huge housing correction.
Well, what we're looking at, so the one segment that there's where we have good selection and good pricing also at the same time is in the luxury price points. In Southern Oregon, above 750, there is inventory available. We are going to go through the winter cleanup. The luxury cleanup is what we call it, where listings expire, or luxury homeowners that are selling their property take their home off the market and then reposition in the spring. Happens this way every year. So we do get to a low point of luxury inventory the first of the year. The luxury season really kicks into bigger numbers in March 1st, but you'll see some homes coming on in February or so to jump the market. And then we'll so in the luxury price points, what I really want to look at is again, where are you moving? Your reason for moving, probably closer to family and friends, lifestyle, just downsizing, just repositioning for the environment. All those things come into play. Just like people move into your area. In Southern Oregon, it's paradise, and people want to live in paradise. Well, that happens everywhere, and there's different reasons for moving, especially those with major equity that we tend to see in the luxury price points. So if I were selling a luxury property, I'd really want to know what's going on in my peer group, the other homes that buyers are looking at in my geographical area and price range, what's going on each week. And if I'm going to talk to a broker about selling my property, I want to know what happened last month and maybe the month before that in my peer group. So how many went under contract, how many price reductions, how many new listings, so I can make an informed decision about pricing. And then I'm going to look at, if I'm going out of area, I'm going to want to talk to the broker in the other area, because the markets are the same almost everywhere in the nation that is taking place right now. So what can I buy there? What's going on for appreciation and all those sorts of things for where the destination where I'm going to, because that will inspire me locally. Well, if I buy here and buy here and sell here, I'm okay. It's within same market timing. So how do I position myself to be the next home to sell in my peer group if that's important to me? We already reach virtually 100% of all buyers in the marketplace, through the internet. Everyone sees it. All the brokers, buyer broker representatives that are representing buyers, they see the home in the marketplace. So now it's just positioning for both condition and price to be the next property to sell.
The market has been interesting enough. We have quite a few for sale by owners, especially in the luxury market. It's kind of interesting. What advice would you give just in general, why it's important to use a broker, especially in troubling times?
Well, when you use a broker, you put that information out to all the other buyer broker representatives representing buyers that the home is available for sale. You bring all that energy to your property. And that's why homes sell, because you have multiple sources of buyers coming in. You're just not advertising yourself. And for sale by owners, yeah, yes, on occasion they work out, but more than not, they end up getting representation to sell their property, because many buyers there's conflict, because buyers know that the seller's doing for sale by owners, so they discount the price right there. And in certain circumstances, there's sometimes tension can happen. When I have a neighbor telling me they're going to buy, or a friend telling me they're going to buy their neighbor's home, the first thing I say is, you better get a broker to be able to get this transaction together. I see too many instances where emotions get in the way, and maybe it's they're asking a little bit higher than where the market is. Well, they're on their price. You're thinking it's too high. But if you have a broker, they can get the comps in there. They can have a conversation to figure out what is the right price for the buyer and for the seller in negotiations to get to. Well, that's the same thing for sale by owners, but using a broker to be able to get that transaction moving forward. And it's market knowledge, it's negotiation. For buyers, it's market knowledge, negotiations, helping them package themselves to get buyer ready, to create certainty with sellers that they are a legitimate buyer and ready to go, because that helps in pricing. It's knowing the market timing strategies of purchasing a home. All those things come into play on the buyer side. And of course, on the seller side, it's about showcasing their home in the best light to get the best price.
Yeah, it is definitely a much better experience for both the buyer and seller if a broker is involved. And there's a lot of good technical reasons for that too.
And Alice, I just want to say, when my wife and when we purchase a home, we get a broker to represent us.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I have a license and I could probably go in and try to negotiate. I don't know the nuances, the consultation, the being able to communicate and represent, to have representation is so key. I would never purchase a home without a buyer. Without a buyer representative representing us.
Well, look at that, folks. Lennox gets a broker. That's how important it is. Speaking of getting a broker, there's been a lot in the news lately about NAR and buyer agency agreements and some shifts in the industry. Would you be able to speak to some of those trends that are coming up?
Yeah, sure. So the buyer representation agreements are coming into play, and it's a understanding between the buyer broker representative and their client. And this is a good thing because what it does is it goes over we go over our services and our representation, because being a buyer representative, we partner with our client as their personal representative. That's what the buyer representation agreement goes over. And it goes over the compensation that we will receive. So there's total transparency of what's taken place. We believe in personal representation. That's the key of representing a seller, but also, in this case, representing a buyer. And so it's an understanding, it's a commitment level, it's being their advocate, the experience level, the trust involved, and it's not only negotiations, but it's also networking with other brokers to find out the nuances to the transaction, so we can get it, that we can move forward and get a house for someone, so that's a big part of buyer representation.
So we just want to prepare people that that's another piece of paper that's going to be presented on the buyer side.
Yes. And some states, it's already state law. Others, it's being proposed to their legislation for within the state. And we'll be seeing more and more of this coming forward.
So don't be surprised if that piece of paper gets brought out. Folks, we're talking to Lennox Scott, CEO and head of John L. Scott Corporation. We're going to take a quick break and take a word from our sponsors, which we're very grateful for. And we also want to remind you that this show is going to be broadcast again tomorrow, Sunday at 6 p.m. And you can catch everything Lennox has to say one more time. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to the Real Estate Show, folks. We're talking to Lennox Scott, CEO and head of John L. Scott Corporation. Thank you so much again, Lennox, for your time.
Well, thank you.
Right before the break, we were talking about the new trend of buyer representation agreements and some of the reason it's great that this is happening in our industry. Can we finish that?
Yes. So in buyer representation, our job is to help our buyer client buy the right home at the right price. And that starts from the buyer consultation that we have. So we can go over what's important to them, what are the nuances of their desires within the home. Because many times we're near 100% of buyers look at the internet during the home search and they introduce homes to us. And we need to take it through our filter also. Is this truly the right home? Or are there other homes available that they really, we think that would be good for them to take a look at so they can make that decision in looking for a home. So it starts out with that buyer consultation. Of course, if they need financing, but we have many buyers that have a lot of equity, but financing is still a situation that we really want to help our buyers get packaged so that there's that certainty for the sellers. And then the right home. It's walking through, it's just experience, eyes wide open, and in talking about the inspection, the the review of the inspection, the purchase agreement, all those items that we get involved with, and then working with the closing service providers to manage our way through. There's title reports, there's getting the timing down right. All those things, again, come into play as the property transfer then happens down the road. So we help you buy right at the right price. That's a John L. Scott phrase that we've been using.
It really is kind of a complex process on the buyer side. I think people don't quite understand. So buyer representation agreement is a good thing. And we're kind of glad it's coming down the pike.
Yep.
We've got lots more and not much time. How about 2024? We started to touch on that in the earlier segment. Let's go back and flesh that out a little bit. What do you see happening?
Well, we're at the low point for numbers of transactions right now, just because of the reasons we brought up earlier. But with interest rates coming down, I was taking a look at Lawrence Yune's forecast. I'm going to call it a forecast, not a prediction, but a forecast for the numbers of transactions. And the forecast right now is that the second half of next year, 2024, the number of transactions will be up 20% above what they are this year. Because interest rates are coming down, more buyers in the marketplace, a few more listings, that just gets you 20% more transactions. And then it will carry forward forward the whole complete year after that in 2025. So that will just bring more intensity into the market, as we chatted with earlier.
So increase in number of transactions. What do you think about prices? What do you think will happen with prices?
Well, with more intensity, this spring is going to be really, the intensity always goes up 1 to 2 levels of hotness in the spring, and then it mellows out in the summer. So this coming year, we're going to have that intensity increase in the spring, 1 to 2 levels. But then as rates come down, there will be more listings than homes going under contract, but it may only come down 1 level of hotness in the summer. Even though the summer is the highest number of transactions on a monthly basis, it's just the intensity comes off ever so slightly. And then we'll go into the fall again, and then the spring of 2025 could be very, very intense.
So when will we have normal?
Yeah.
It's been such a long time. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, so normalcy looks like in many markets, year 2018 and 2019. That would be the normal sequence of when homes come on the market and there's enough, the interest rates were lower than where they are right now. But there was no real restriction of transactions or listings coming on the market. It was a normal flow. And we're running below normalcy right now. Mainly because of the higher interest rates and just fewer homes coming on the market, fewer buyers into the marketplace, fewer sellers in the marketplace. So what will happen is, even if rates do come down to 6.5 towards mid next year, we're still going to have a shortage of listings coming on the market because of the interest rate differential. And it's mainly local homeowners not repositioning on a local basis because they already have their home at a very low interest rate. So they're just not coming on in the normal sequence or buying in the normal sequence. And so that's going to extend for sure in 2024, and then to some degree years ahead. And then it will even itself out as life events happen and people move forward in life. And, so those things will take place over the years ahead. But we're going to be in this situation for a while.
Well, but it's not forever, and that's the hopefulness. And speaking of hopefulness, John L. Scott has a community contribution as part of its corporate motto, and you do a lot of giving just as a corporation. Can we talk a little bit about that with the couple minutes we have left?
Oh, sure. So thank you. So at John L. Scott, we have a John L. Scott Foundation, and then our local offices also get involved with community service of being a contribution. And what this is about is, we sell tens of thousands of homes each year. But as a company, our higher purpose is living life as a contribution. And that's one of the great joys in life, is being a contribution to others. And we do that within our work of being a contribution to our clients, supporting our teammates, and then supporting the community. And we get involved with several projects that way. And then experientially, we take this home to a family and friends, community, and place of faith. And so this is our core value. It's a true joy. All of us together in the company give out of our commissions to a foundation and to our causes. And locally, you've got some big projects.
We do, and it's coming up. Our Earth Angels Foundation, which a lot of our local agents at John L. Scott contribute their commissions to, puts together food baskets for needy families. And it's quite a huge project. In fact, it takes over our entire office. And if anybody's ever seen our office, it's huge. And we're very, very excited to be offering that coming up here for the holidays. We're very, very proud of that. Earth Angels food basket drive.
Well, and I know there's just such great energy in the office and joy of being a contribution to others. So thank you on behalf of the community. And I just want to acknowledge what you're doing.
Well, it really is a pride to be associated with John L. Scott. And Lennox, we thank you so much. We only have a few minutes left. Do you have any other words that you'd like to leave?
Well, it's what's going on in the market. This is a moment in time. It's a time to reposition, and we really see those in motion are those with major equity. They're moving forward in today's market. They've been waiting through the pandemic during that ultra frenzy market. There may be some weren't able to move right then because you couldn't find a house. Well, right now you can get a house in that destination area or reposition locally to move at this time. So that's a real blessing. And then we will, as the market unfolds and comes back together this years ahead, it's just very, very exciting time. So what we do is we focus on each individual client. It's one client at a time. What's important to them, because that's where the trust and the business takes place. And About 80% of our business is repeat and referral business from the people that we know, that we've really taken on to be our clients. It's not a customer relationship, it's a client relationship. And that's what drives our business, just as we use their services when it's appropriate for us, or refer people to them. And it's just all of us, we're all connected. We want to all of us help uplift each other in the community, and you just have that taking place in Southern Oregon.
Well, thank you again, Lennox. That's just wonderful. And maybe we'll get to speak with you again in 2024.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that's it. Have a beautiful Southern Oregon week. We'll talk to you next time. Bye now.